to the spotlight with me, your host Aliu Jallo. In the studio today, I have Thomas Beule, commercial director for ACP, something like that. Yeah, so Thomas is here in the Gambia and would want to take us through some of his business. But before we go further, would actually allow Thomas to give a brief introduction of himself. Thomas, welcome to the Fata Network.
Thank you very much for having me. Well, you said my name almost correctly, so I will start with that. It's Thomas de Beule, but it's a good start. And yes, I'm the commercial director for CBL-ACP. That's the Chamber of Commerce in Belgium and Luxembourg, focusing on African, Caribbean, and Pacific countries.
Thank you, Thomas. Before going further, let me first ask, give us a little bit synopsis of your business before we go into the discussion proper.
Yes, so we are a Chamber of Commerce. So of course, we work like any Chamber of Commerce. You could, I would say, compare us with the Gambia Chamber of Commerce. So we work for our members, mainly Belgian companies that have business in Africa, in the Caribbean or Pacific countries. And how we work is that within our structure in Belgium, we have different people who focus on a particular country. And then we also have country reps in those countries. So if you look at the African continent, we have about 30 representatives. Then for myself within the chamber, I'm the commercial director, but I'm also having Nigeria and the Gambia as a country under me. And we have representatives in both of those countries. So we also have a local representative here in the Gambia.
Thank you. So can you tell us what the goal is for upcoming business trip to the Gambia and Senegal in May? What would you hope to accomplish at the end of the day?
Yes, so if you look what we will be doing in May, it will be the first week of May, we will be having a business trip from Belgium, first to Senegal and then to Gambia. So for the Gambian part, I'm the one taking care of the agenda, the itinerary, and what would be on the agenda during those days. So it would be a group of business people. The registrations have just started, so we are, I would say, looking at about 30 Belgian companies coming along from different sectors. Of course, they will be aligned with the focus sectors of Gambia, tourism, agriculture, construction, and so on. And actually, we had a similar trade mission in 2018 that also first went to Senegal and then to the Gambia. So I've been here now for almost 2 weeks, preparing, having meetings with the Gambia Chamber of Commerce, with different ministries and so on, to prepare for the trip in May.
So what do you hope to accomplish at the end of the day?
Well, of course, we will hope to accomplish that our members, the companies coming along with this trip, make connections, have good B2B meetings with Gambian companies, also with the government, see how they can partner, how they can trade, and hopefully also in the future invest. But I think it's very important to mention that Belgian companies, they tend first to look at how they can trade. And then if there's a good partnership, then I would say then they are looking at having a joint venture and then investing in a business together.
So tell us a little bit about the focus of this particular trip and then the sectors involved.
Yes. So if you look at the business trip that will be happening in May, I would say the main focus is really for these companies to explore the Gambia. Because for many of them, Gambia is a new market, so they are looking to explore, the opportunities in the Gambia, and we will be doing that by actually the first day we will be organizing a plenary session, a seminar where we will highlight, these are the opportunities in the Gambia. We'll have different speakers. We are also working together with the EU delegation in the Gambia. They will also, make a presentation. That would be actually also quite interesting for Gambian companies because they will be talking about financing, explain to the Belgian private sector, look, these are the financing modalities, from Brussels, from Europe. that your company can access, and at the same time also Gambian companies can access those funding. Most of the time, of course, with the joint venture with the European company. Sometimes there has to be a backing by the Gambian government for certain projects. So it's real about, creating awareness towards the Belgian private sector about what are the opportunities in the Gambia, and then connect them with the right people in the Gambia so that they can do business together.
So what are some of the opportunities attached to these Belgian companies, and how are they attracted to the Gambia as per se? Because I mean, we have a lot of countries within the sub-region, but they've choose Senegal and the Gambia.
Yes. Well, of course, I think one should look at Gambia as, I would say, a testing ground for especially companies that I would say are a bit new to Africa, or West Africa in this case, as it is a country that it's quite easily, people are quite accessible, even, within the government. If you have a legitimate business and you have interest to work with government or private sector, if you work with the right people, I would say if you go through our chamber, through CBL-ACP, us having a local representative in the country, we are able to assist our members on accessing the right people. So I would say the opportunities that Gambia has, that it's a country where it is quite easy to start doing business. Of course, majority of business happening in the Gambia is a lot of import and export. But as we are seeing, a lot of infrastructure projects are happening, a lot of constructions are happening, looking at real estate, residential, even office buildings and so on. So I would say that there are a number of sectors, and I would say because we have such a strong network in the country, we are able to assist our members to make sure we connect them with the right Gambian counterpart. And if they have a project, we're also able to give them advice. Okay, you should talk to this person at that ministry, maybe at the EU delegation. They can support your projects within their portfolio of different projects that they are working on. So I would say Gambia is really, I would say, a great starting point, if you want to test the West African market.
Good. So the next question would be, how do your company actually help this Belgian company to actually, make business in the Gambia and other part of Africa?
Yes. So as I mentioned, how we work in Belgium, we have all the people focusing on different countries within our chamber, and then through our local representatives, we would assist them based on their needs. So it can be that one of our members is coming to Gambia within a month, and they tell us, oh, I'm going to Gambia, I'm looking to meet importers of dairy products. Can you please give me a list of contacts or put me in touch? So we would then be assisting them to connect them with that specific request in the country. And we do, different events. For example, if we are invited for a business forum in any of the focus countries, we would always see how we can partner up with the embassy of Belgium in that particular country, and then maybe organize a reception. So we can also invite the local business people and also the Belgian community, so that we can bring them together under that umbrella. So I would say those are the main focuses that we are having from our chamber, and it's, I would say, really an added value for Belgian companies that have a focus on Africa and Caribbean and Pacific countries to join CBL-ACP, as we can assist them in so many countries.
Well, viewers, if you are watching, you're following us. My guest today is Thomas Beule, Commercial Director for CBL-ACP. He is here to talk about his recent trip to the Gambia and, what opportunities he has brought for the Gambia, especially, with their company handling quite a number of companies that are coming to the Gambia. So, of course, some of them will be coming to the Gambia for the first time. And obviously, when you come to start up a business in a country for the first time, in an environment that is very strange to you, obviously there will be challenges. Now, what would be these challenges for these Belgian companies, and how would you actually be able to help them navigate these challenges in order to be able to establish themselves in the Gambia?
Yes, that's a very crucial part of it. Well, I think for us we are always very straightforward with our members. We will not tell them a fairy tale. Of course, Gambia has issues with electricity. We cannot deny that. But that's why when we advise our members, depending on which sector they are in, if they are in manufacturing, if they need a lot of electricity to do their business, we would advise them, look, there are other options. Look at solar. If you would set up a factory, it will be more convenient to work with solar power so that you don't have those issues when the power supply is not there. So I would say for us, we look at ways to present, some of the difficulties that you can call as opportunities to, to look at how to solve it. Because also recently Gambia has, made it possible that if you have a large, I would say, solar installation, that you can feed that back into the grid. So actually selling that to the national energy and water company. So I would say it's actually an opportunity. Of course, these are investments that a company has to calculate, because of course if there's uninterrupted power supply, that of course would be the best option. But of course we have to look at the reality on the ground. It's not yet the case, but I'm confident that with the projects that are being implemented, I know there's a 50 megawatt project that is being implemented, I think still this year or in the coming year. So I think there's a lot of changes happening in the Gambia, and I think it's a good time to already start doing business in the country, get to know the market, being established, so that in the coming years when I would say there is more progress on that side of the business, then you'll be in a more stronger position to really benefit from all those changes.
Of course, when we look at the global economy, Gambia is not among those countries that you can actually, count on. But however, you've decided that there's a market here. Can you take us through as to why do Belgian companies have to look at markets like the Gambia, considering the global economy?
Yes, well, as I mentioned before, I think Gambia is an interesting market, to test the waters, especially for West Africa. Also, the port of Banjul, traditionally is a re-exporting hub, bringing goods into the Gambia, but also to neighboring countries. So I would say it's, a country that has a lot of potential. And, I think it's about trading first. And our Belgian companies, as mentioned before, they are used to trading first, seeing are their goods, their services, are they ready for the market? If yes, see if they can work with a local partner, maybe set up a joint venture, and so on. So of course, we have Gambia as one of our focus countries. So any initiative that is coming from Belgium where we can include Gambia, as we do with any of our focus countries, we see how we can best, do that. So I would say Gambian economy has its advantages. It's not that difficult to start doing business in the country, as it is not that huge as with some other countries. So I would say if a company takes their time working with partners at CBL-ACP, we can properly advise them on how to get started. And I would say that that's the advantage, that you can get, easily connected working with the right partners in Gambia.
Of course, many companies out there that are Gambian would be very pleased to have, foreign companies come into here. But obviously, they would be looking up to building partnership with most of them in terms of, business and trade. Now, take us through what partnership would these Belgian companies actually, provide to Gambian companies?
Yes. So as I already mentioned, I would say the first thing that the Belgian companies are looking for is, a distributor of their goods, like a local representative, selling the goods on their behalf. And then I think, there are opportunities for, you know, partnerships in, Gambian companies that, have a warehousing, that, let's say if their products is introduced in the market, of course it's important to make sure that it's available, even the same day. If you have a big order that you can say, okay, you order it this morning, in the afternoon, we can send it your way. So those are opportunities for these collaborations to start. But I would say, it takes time. I know Belgian companies, they like to take it step by step. I know some other countries, you have companies coming and they say, oh, I'm ready to invest, set up a company, build a whole new building for warehousing and so on. I would say we have a very, good embassy in Dakar of Belgium. We also have a representation of Belgium in the Gambia. We have a honorary consul. And I'm saying that because on the side of trade, we actually have a Belgium trade commissioner who is stationed at the embassy of Belgium. And he's actually coming into the Gambia today. Wow. So together with him, we will be mapping, exploring different opportunities for business, but also investment in the Gambia. And I also have to mention that you have a very, productive and supportive Gambian ambassador in Brussels, Mr. Jobarte, who's been really key to making sure that, the connections are made. Also have to thank the Gambia Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who's been very helpful, in making connections with different ministries, also to, make sure that we get access to these high-level officials to make sure that when delegation comes in May, we have the full support from the government, but also from the private sector. And I think that's key because, for many of these Belgian companies that I mentioned, will be their first time in the country. So of course, it is our, I would say, mission to make sure that we show them the best of the best of the country, so that they go back, with a good feeling, with a good experience, and say that yes, Gambia has potential. We put it as one of our countries because, of course, you have to understand many of these Belgian companies, they export to, almost everywhere, or they have, certain focus countries. So of course you have to really, make sure that you convince them that yes, I can do business in the country. But as I mentioned before, we are in a very good position to give them that support.
Of course, your company has been existing and working with over 30 countries, within the globe. So how would you actually help African businesses to understand between the business climate environment and in Africa and also in the Caribbean?
Yes. Well, I think we have to look at each region separately. Even, if you look at the African continent, you have West, North, Central, Southern, and East Africa, each having their own, community of organizations. So of course, each country is quite different than the other. Comparing already Gambia and Senegal, there are big differences there that, that you have to explain to your members. They would like to have advice on, okay, if I do business in this country, is there reliable transport? How is the infrastructure? How are the roads and so on? Same for the Caribbeans. We get these questions, from our members. Okay. And then also we have the Pacific countries. So I would say every economy, has their advantages and disadvantages. So our main task is to explain to our members and give them support. Poultry, they needed a certification from the Ministry of Agriculture of that country. And then through our representative and our person in charge of that country in Brussels was able to facilitate that entry, and they got the certification from the government. And that member then was able to import their goods into the country. So we are really there to solve problems, but also to make sure that we inform before any problem arises, so that they have a smooth entry in all of the countries that we focus on.
On a final note, I know for sure you must have already had some companies that are already registered from Belgium that are, that will be part of the trip. And obviously there will be some interesting companies that would really love to have the opportunity to join. Now, take us through what word of advice do you have for those companies in Belgium that wish to join this trip?
Yes, well, I would say this trip really is an explorational trip to the Gambia. So I would say any company that is looking to either start doing business in Africa or is looking to expand their footprint in Africa, I would say Gambia is a perfect country to start. That can really be, I would say, an easy way to enter the country. It's very accessible. People, they are quite open to new business opportunities. Having the right profile, of course, is important. But I would say Gambia is a country that if you fall in sectors of agriculture,